So thank you very much for your ongoing support. This is for us because without you guys, all this incredible achievement wouldn't have been possible. So thank you very much for taking time off your busy schedule again to be here with us. Let's keep going. I 100% believe together we can achieve great things for the best interests of the city of Portsmouth. So thank you very much for being here today. So I'm not going to sort of talk about a lot of things before we start. We're going to start the conference. We're going to have give you guys a deeper understanding of all the 3 different programs that we have on the Urbond, and play some videos for you guys from members of the community to talk to you guys how they feel about Urbond, the support they're getting from Urbond. And for you guys, obviously, I know you have got a lot of understanding of Urbond, but hopefully this is going to give you a deeper understanding of what we do and then what we're looking to achieve for, again, the best interest of Portsmouth. So thank you very much for coming. So this is myself. My name is Osman Drame. I'm the Chief Executive of Urbond, and I'm part of the founding members of Urbond. Urbond was funded at the back of local integration issues in Portsmouth, and it's been going on since 2013. The charity is actually working to advance racial harmony, equality and diversity for the public benefit. We started in 2013 here in Portsmouth. Most of us moved to Portsmouth, and we've looked at it, the issues in Portsmouth. We thought this issue should be addressed for the best interest of people that live in Portsmouth. And we've seen a lot of people moving into Portsmouth, not from Portsmouth, and it's how we can all come together to live in harmony and making sure everyone is equally treated in Portsmouth. So we are registered as a charity in England, also registered as a charity in the Republic of Guinea. I will tell you guys a bit why we registered. I'm sure most of you guys know why we registered again in the Republic of Guinea. The vision is to sort of actively get involved in our communities to help build a bigger and stronger community for all. So the mission obviously is to sort of try to expand and reach out both to a lot of people internationally and nationally. But the 3 main programs that we have at Urbond, we have the community integration program that is basically based here in Portsmouth to help advance racial harmony, equality and diversity for the public benefit. And then we have the youth development program to drive opportunities, wellness and success for young people and their future. And we have the child education program, which is actually based outside England, but is to provide child education to children who would otherwise go without it. So here we're going to talk about our community integration program, which is working to advance racial harmony, equality and diversity for the public benefit here in Portsmouth. We're going to play a little video for you guys to sort of give you understanding about the community integration. Urban community integration is helping advance racial harmony, equality and diversity for the public benefit. We started in 2013. We have been able to bring so many different people from all different walks of life, irrespective of their beliefs, background and ideologies. People are building a strong ongoing relationships, and the community is getting better. And the plan is to keep bringing people together and keep building a better community for everyone.
Urbond is an organisation which has changed the landscape of Portsmouth, bringing people together from all walks of life from across the city.
Today we are talking about diversity, inclusion and community integration. So this is part of our community integration programme, which is advancing racial harmony, equality and diversity for the public benefit.
Urbond is like a family to me.
Urbond means to me people to rely on and the biggest group of friends that I've ever had.
Urbond is such a beautiful place to meet all kinds of people, form your own community, be in the community, and you build relationships with people for life.
Urbond to me, first of all, what springs in mind is community integration. Urbond stands for getting people together, no matter where you're from, you're always welcome here.
A social hub for internationals in Portsmouth.
Perfect family.
Urbond means an opportunity to give back to my community.
Urbond has allowed me to meet a whole new range of new people in my community.
Urbond creates a platform for women who give them opportunities, feel confidence in different kind of ways, in different workshops.
I've been able to meet a lot of great people, great friends, I've been able to network. I recently went to a women's conference that they held. It was a great day, I felt really inspired and I met some amazing, inspiring women that are just trying to succeed in anything they do.
When you think about Urbond, all that comes to mind is integration. People from all walks of life getting together and making a difference.
So for me, Urbond means doing activities I love and helping my local community at the same time.
Urbond has provided me with a platform and opportunity to be able to become a coach.
We've got a nice big international community. Outside of work or outside of life, it becomes family.
Urbond is a place where I always felt welcome.
To me it means everything about community and interacting with lots of different people from all walks of life.
Being a foreigner in a foreign city, you will always look for areas and you will always look for places where you can feel that you belong and that you're safe, and that's the biggest thing that Urbond has done for me.
So I'm Vicky Spencer, I work for Hampshire and Isle of Wight Constabulary.
Having been on the front line and having been in the force for this long, what would you say has been the main point from the police standpoint in the problem that they face with minorities?
I think it is almost an ignorance and a not understanding each other.
I just want to thank Urbond for bringing this together and having how many men are here, black men are here. Just having a police here with men is a one step ahead, yeah? So this is the beginning now.
I mean, we've been involved with Urbond for, must be coming up to 7 years now. Drama, what he's done with Urbond's nothing short of amazing, really.
We've known him over the years, and if his enthusiasm rubs off on one person, it's worth it. So, more power to Urbond.
So, the community integration program, again, as I said, is to sort of like promote activities in the community to try and sort of like build a cohesive, inclusive, and a community that actually accepts everyone irrespective of their beliefs, background, and ideologies. Our goals obviously is to eliminate discrimination in any shape or form, to promote activities to foster better understanding between people from all different walks of life, between the minority, the police, between the majority and the minority, between everybody, irrespective of their beliefs, background, or even ideologies. And also, we're looking to sort of like cultivate a sentiment in favor of equality and diversity, to lay a platform where everybody is equally treated, men's, women, you know, anyone from all different sort of like walks of life, to sort of like make sure everybody is equally treated in the community. Why the community integration is to address issues in our community, such as racism, equality and discrimination, loneliness and isolation, physical or mental health. These are the 6 different projects that we have under the community integration program. Because obviously the question is, how do we achieve our community integration program? How do we sort of like advance racial harmony, equality and diversity? It's through these 6 activities that we have, 6 projects that we have in the community. We have the community fitness activities. That is basically like we have activities Monday to Sunday. It's kind of like a fitness, gentle fitness, or even people coming in to sit down and watch people exercise. We have seen people coming in to sort of like just use it as a platform to socialize with people from different backgrounds. We have the community workshop, the community work. So the community works is basically doing a lot of things, looking after the environment in Portsmouth. We've done a lot of beach cleanup. We've done a lot of sort of like tree planting in Portsmouth. We've also like done a lot of food donations to support members of the community. We have the Heart Talk Forum. Heart Talk Forum is like bringing, you've seen Vicky Spencer from the police. It's actually bringing sort of like different groups in Portsmouth together to try and discuss each other's differences we have in the city of Portsmouth. So we have the police that comes to you, they're now part of the Heart Talk Forum. They come to the meetings all the time. We have the local council that are actually part of the forum group. And the plan is obviously to get more diverse groups involved in the forum group to come together and discuss differences for the best interest of the city of Portsmouth. We have our social event. That's basically a celebration of everything that we have under the Urbond's platform. We have the social cultural events. We also have the days out to take members of the community out of Portsmouth to give them a platform to sort of like discuss each other's differences and build that relationship. And we've seen people at the back of those social events, build a stronger ongoing relationship with each other. The women's empowerment groups, this again, like every single thing that we have on the Urbond's community integration project, they're all basically been referred by members of the community saying like, right, these activities will work. Women used to come to these activities and they sort of like wanted to have something that they would actually sort of like, come together, discuss each other's differences and then provide each other a really good support. And it was at the back of that the Women's Empowerment Group was born. And they discuss issues such as domestic violence, they discuss issues such as issues with maternity, and they've got a lot of different things they discuss. We've actually got a women's conference coming up, which is going to be on the 18th to sort of like celebrate International Women's Day. We've got the workshop and seminars. The workshop and seminars, we work with local specialists, local recruitment consultant, again, to come to the community and talk about jobs available in Portsmouth for the people that live in Portsmouth. And again, we previously had recruitment consultants come into this and then pitch jobs that they have available in the community. We've done a lot of CV improvement skills for members of the community. They come to us and then we sit down, we help them improve their CVs to try and get them jobs so they can actually get off the hardship they're going through at the moment. So that's again, going from strength to strength. So these are basically the 6 main projects that we have under the community integration program. Now we talk about the impact and achievement from those 6 projects in 2022. Because the conference today, we're here to sort of like talk to you guys about what was done in 2022, and then also talk to you guys what we actually looking to what we're planning to achieve in 2023. So the impact in 2022 was great. We had it was our best year so far. 2,614 people participated in the activities that we provide here in Portsmouth. 181 activities were organized, 78 different nationalities now we have under Urbond, and 80% would actually recommend Urbond's activities to members or friends and families. So in terms of like the community works, this is how many families were supported in 2022. We had 15 families that were supported. We have actually visited those families 84 times to donate food and support them. Community fitness activities, we have yoga, we have volleyball, basketball, football, or even again, as I said, gentle sort of like half an hour walk in the community centre. And then 1,912 participants have actually benefited from the community fitness activities. The Heart Talk Forum, we have like the Heart Talk Forum, we have 2 forms of like Heart Talk Forum. We have the forum meetings, again, that's bi-monthly workshops, and 15 leaders. Each of those leaders have got basically a reach of about 50 people. We have all these different associations in Portsmouth that are part of that. So it was really, really great to sort of like, this I think is going to change a lot of things here in Portsmouth. We've got the police part of that, we've got the local council part of that, and then we've got a lot of different organizations and associations in Portsmouth. We all come together and discuss issues in Portsmouth because all these respective groups are actually facing issues in Portsmouth. The thing is, how can we all come together and then tackle those issues for the best interest of everyone in Portsmouth? So people are benefiting from that. In terms of the podcast again is like picking up, is going from strength to strength, is how can we reach out to larger audience? People are coming to these activities is great, but we still have a lot of people that are not coming to these activities. How do you reach out to those people? And then we're doing that via the podcast. And the views, since we started the podcast, we actually about 30,000 views. People that engage with the posts that we actually do. That's in partnership with Power Media, and they sort of like come to the office. We run the podcast series, and then we put it on YouTube for people to view it. So we discuss issues like integration issues, we talk about racism in schools, we talk about everything there, and the topics that we discuss are all basically the community integration topics that people can actually sit down and watch. Even if they're not in Portsmouth, they can actually look at that and say, oh, great, this is a great thing going on in Portsmouth. Why can't you sort of like, you know, do something similar in other cities? Women's empowerment, over 50 women have benefited from the workshops in 2022. And then the conference, over 100 women benefited from it, which is, again, is great because the feedback we get from the ladies that attend these activities is incredible. And the plan is for us to support them and keep providing them with a platform where they can actually come together, build that stronger sort of like working relationship, and then help us, you know, build a better and stronger community. Social events, 519 people actually participated in the social events and gatherings that we actually organized in 2022. Workshops and seminars from like COVID campaign to sort of like try and get the minority and obviously the majority young people to look at vaccinations, to sort of like working with NIHR, to working with members of the community here. Again, 2,080 people have actually benefited from the workshops that we actually do in the community. We do a lot of surveys. You might look at that number and then say it's too high, but we do a lot. The thing is, it's not only people that actually come to us, it's also how do we reach out to people that don't come. So we do a lot of links to make sure this is all possible. Okay, so we have Hive, Richmond Motor Group, and all these people that we actually working at the moment with. But it's been great. It's been great to work with everyone. And I think the plan is to sort of like keep working with people on daily basis to make sure like, you know, everything that we do is for the best interest of people in Portsmouth. So that's the community integration. Before we move on to sort of like the youth development program, I'm more than happy to sort of like answer any questions that you may have. But this is a great platform to ask questions that you have, and for us to be able to answer those questions, because again, as I said, we have so many supporters in the room here today, is how can we sort of like keep working together for the best interest of people in Portsmouth. But if you don't have any questions, we're going to move on to the youth development program, which is about driving opportunities, wellness and success for young people. And I've got a video here again for the youth development program to give you a better understanding of like what we basically do.
Urbond to me is a charity where we try to get people our kids out of trouble and keep them active, doing stuff like football, volleyball, basketball and all other inclusive sports.
It's almost scary saying that. And they go to a group school. It's in a village setting and they've got all the support that they need, right? And you can't replicate that in a big city without charities like Urbond. And there are loads of other charities that work in partnership with Urbond as well that deliver that. But there definitely could be a lot more improvement. And that's part of the reason why I've gotten involved with the youth development side of things in phase 2. And for me, I think it's that step change from just engaging them, giving them out of trouble, and I know phase 1 is amazing because it gives them something to do and looks after their physical and mental health, and the coaches are great in talking to some of the kids if they've got any particular problems. I know Drummy is quite passionate about trying to solve issues as and when they come up. But there needs to be more concerted effort that looks at, right, beyond sport, beyond school, think about careers. What can you do?
It's not all about the engagement activities. All of you guys here, I see you guys week in, week out. We feel like we're responsible for, in as much as like you've got your parents looking after you, you spending a lot of time with us. We have to make sure we provide you with opportunities so you can do better in life.
We were drama on Guinea trip, and one evening we just kind of said to them, what can Richmond Motor Group do to help out more in the community in Portsmouth? And in drama, one of the biggest impacts would be giving you guys the opportunity to come and have a day at Richmond in a corporate environment, in an office environment, in a professional environment, to just to expose you to that and just see what you think, and that'll give you an opportunity to work out, hopefully, what direction you want to go in the future, but also benefit you when you want to go and apply for a job or anything else.
I found it really helpful for me. I guess it kind of helped me figure out what I kind of want to do with my life in the future.
It helped us like think about different opportunities. Yeah, it was a good experience, and I'd like to come here a bit more.
Urbond means a great deal to me because my son, I did struggle for him to be able to express himself and come out of his shell. And after we found Urbond, he has really come out of his shell. He's so expressive, he's so confident.
Being with Urbond and playing in volleyball, I was a wide range of people from different cultures, different backgrounds, different communities and schools. And it was just, it's great because we're supported as like one unit, like one group, one team, supporting each other, having support from the coaches is unreal.
Urbond's a place to go to make new friends and keep fit.
For me, in Portsmouth, I find it really hard to relate to a lot of people, so coming from Urbond for me is really good for me. So,
When I was 16, I joined here, and I'm really enjoying here, and I met a lot of new friends as well here, so I'm happy.
It's allowed me to be confident in myself and express myself and to pick up new things.
Urbond was a great way for me to socialise and keep fit, playing a sport I love and helping the community. And Urbond for me is the way that I found a new sport to enjoy, and I've found a bunch of new friends who spend time in the community and keep them fit.
Urbond is a team that unifies the people of Portsmouth.
A place of happiness and community where we learn together and make friends.
In the summer, I came along to one of the seminars that they spoke about what they were doing, and I realised that they were a lot more than just we provide sports. I realised that they were actually there to sort of engage with us and see what we were like, and like they were there to help us. So I decided that I would stay there and I would try to help out as much as I could because they've done stuff for me, so I'd always want to give back.
So the youth development program, I mean, this program is like really close to a lot of people's heart. You know, people that actually work in Portsmouth and people that actually volunteer for Urbond. I mean, most of us like went through the same path that these young people are going through. So we understand them. We know what they're going through, and we know what it takes to actually provide them with a platform for a better chance for the future. You know, it doesn't need to sort of like, you don't need to pick books. You don't need to go to school to understand what these young people go through here, because we can relate. That's what we have to sort of like dodge a lot of different things to be where we are. And for me, to mentor some of these kids is more than sort of like a job. It's actually making sure that we actually providing them with a platform where they can do better in life. And we would never ever give up on that, because that is something that we need to do and we need to keep doing. Because this program here is one of the hardest programs that we have. It's even tougher than the child education program. You have so many young kids here. I keep talking to, you can go and see some of the kids that we work with in Africa. They lack funding or they lack resources to go to school. But they don't have things like, oh, you don't have a good credit, or you can't buy things, because they don't have things like bad credit. So you can go 50 and then have all this record, but you can still do better in life because there is nothing to sort of like pull your record. But some of these kids here, what they don't realize, kids that actually been put through county line, 12, 7, 8, 9, 12, when you've got like a criminal record, or when you get to 18, you've got a criminal record, it's got like, you pretty much like not gonna be able to do anything with your life, because this country is based around credit. You won't be able to buy a house, you won't be able to do anything. So it's tough. It's making sure these young people know they're aware of that, and how can we support them? Because they're young, they might not sort of like know a lot of different things, but it takes like a group of like, all of us to sort of like mentor these young kids to make sure they're growing up in an environment where they have got opportunities to do better in life. Someone giving them that financial literacy to make sure like, they can grow up. By the time they're 20, 21, they're thinking of buying their own houses. But the trouble with that is most of these young kids, they've been sort of like, they have never had that support system. And I'm not basically saying the system has failed them. It's just because people don't understand them. And I think the reason why we come to it in a minute, the reason why we sort of like have so many young kids come into this program is just because we're giving them what they want. It's that simple. So the program goals obviously is safety of the young people, and then to give them that mentorship, and then to actually sort of like promote their physical well-being by providing them with physical activities. So why the youth development program is again to try and tackle youth crime by talking to them. We have so many different young people that come in. We have different groups. We have like, we obviously grade them when they come to us. We have the ones that have actually maybe gone through county line or have been selling drugs. And then we have like young people that come in, 50-50, they've had like a really good upbringing, but they have got issues with isolation. We have young people that actually come to us, they're super great, they're really good. It's just kind of like keeping them on that pathway. But again, the most important thing is here is so how do we tackle that youth crime in Portsmouth? Because again, I'm sure we all agree the youth crime is picking up. And how do we make sure these young people don't go through that, avenue, and then sort of like make sure to do something better with their life. Exposure obviously to domestic abuse, substance abuse, and then health and learning difficulties, again, is something that we actually promote within our youth development program. So here you heard Joe talk in that video about phase 1 of the youth development program. So we've got different phases for the youth development program. When a young person, what we actually do, I'm sure you've seen one of the leaflets, we outreach to the young people. We actually go in different parks, we talk to them, and then we try to sort of like, engage with them. And the engagement actually sort of like sometimes take up sometimes up to 6 months to engage with them. This is kind of like providing them with activities, seeing them 2 or 3 times a week, and engage with them to gain a better understanding of that young kid. And then once we have a better understanding of the kids, so they might be interested in sort of like a group days out, basketball, volleyball, football, or even like coming to half activity that we have with Portsmouth City Council. Once we engage with them for 6 months, then we'll have better understanding of that kid, and we'll then be able to sort of like say, right, how can we then create a pathway for this kid? It's now either with the phase 2, you've seen Andrew in one of the workshops, is to talk to them about employment or talk to them about access to education. So we create that pathway for them, and we're not going to sort of like stop there. We carry on mentoring them. Because when I was talking to Andrew and Abby about it, it's kind of like, right, great, we're going to take our best kids and then we're going to put it through to Richmond, but it doesn't stop there, because we have to make sure we keep mentoring them giving us feedbacks, and then see how we can actually, create a better platform for them. And again, we'll talk about that in a minute, but the support that we're getting from Richmond with the youth employment is honestly, again, is second to none. I mean, I don't really want to. I will talk about Richmond at the end of the conference, but without Richmond, this youth employment wouldn't have been possible. Because when I remember I was in Guinea with Andrew, and then Andrew was like, what can Richmond do for Urbond in the UK? And then I said to Andrew, I was like, give young people access to see how a professional environment works. I know Urbond, like we take all the trouble kids, we bring them to our office, and then it's like yesterday we had a lot of kids in the office, and then we have to obviously like keep eye on all these sort of things, but we're making sure whoever we're passing the kids, so they come to the office first, we actually try and sort that out, and then we pass them on to our partners to sort of like help them and provide them with that opportunity. So many of these young kids, they actually want to change their current situation. They just need a platform, they just need someone to actually give them that opportunity. And that's what we're trying to do here, with the help of Richmond, to give them that access to employment where they can actually go and then see how a professional environment works. And then with the hope that they can actually obtain jobs at the back of that, if that's what they want to do, or if they want to go back to school, we try and sort of like, get them back to education. So I've spoken about our approach is really simple. This is how we actually work on our youth development program. So we outreach to the young people, we get them engaged for 6 months. After that, we create a powerful way for them, which is access to education or employment. And then we help them develop new skills with our partners. We create opportunities for them and celebrate their achievement. This year, we're going to be doing our first ever youth award to sort of like give award to our 10 best kids here in Portsmouth, which is going to be really, really good. And then after that, hopefully by the time they're 18, then we can actually sort of like, they can progress, have like career or go to university. So that's what we're looking to do with the program. Again, this is, again, if you look at it, is simply not having limited opportunities in the community. When they haven't got something to do, that's when they kind of like look at other options. And most of the time, they actually go and hang around with wrong people and then commit crime, and then they find themselves going to prison or having a bad credit or doing county line because someone is saying to them, oh, actually, you're not getting a pair of trainers, they cost like £100, I can actually buy that for you. As a child, you just want to go and get that money, you want to go and get that trainers because you want to look cool in the community without realizing the guy that's actually buying all these things for you is actually exploiting you for their own gain. So how do we stop that? Because that's what we actually looking to do. It's a tough job for us because we have to sort of like, we strategically select these young people sometimes. We go and then rescue them, try to rescue them sometimes, and then get them out of that path to get them with the engagement activities and hopefully create different pathway for them. The areas we actually sort of like, we have got strategic areas in Portsmouth that we actually always go and then make sure we recruit. Some of our activities are actually based in those deprived areas in Portsmouth because we want those kids to sort of like partake in activities. So some of we have to use a lot of techniques to get to those young people that actually need our support. When we have realized for the past year that we've been working with these kids, they have actually been learning a lot of new skills. Some people are actually gaining employment at the back of that. Some people have actually changed their entire career. Some people are going back to school. The result is we're seeing it, we're interacting with these people, they come into the office and they want to change. I was speaking to some of them even last night at the youth engagement activities. They're coming to us now and saying like, hey, you know, I want a job. I want this, I want that. I was like, that's great. You know, what we want from you guys to come and tell us like, you know, what do you want? And then we try and provide that for you guys. Again, this is very important for us, you know, exposing these young people to different cultures. I 100% believe nobody is born racist. You know, people actually, all this hatred that you see in the community, people are learning from different places. And these kids is to expose these young kids from this age of 6, 7, 8 years old to make our community integration work easier for us is to expose these young kids to different cultures. They grow up in front of different people, different cultures, and then when they grow up like that, they wouldn't see people for the color of their skin. They just see people as human beings. So it's very important for us to sort of like teach these young kids about different cultures to make sure that their mental health, physical well-being is taken care of as well. It's very important. This is why we have this community, the youth engagement activities to make sure we provide them with a platform for them to keep exercising. And then improving their life communication and confidence. Yesterday I was at basketball with Coach Carlos, and then we spoke to these young kids to sort of like give us some affirmations. And we even forgot about it. Yesterday they all turned up with their affirmations. You know, they were reading out. And if you follow us on Instagram, the Youth Development Program, you will see what they were talking about. And the coaching staff, you're just basically telling these kids, that's what I want you to read when you're going to bed. And the first thing you do when you wake up, read it. Because if you train your mind to get used to that, you'll be invincible, because that's all you're gonna see. You're strong, you're powerful, and nobody can tell you you can't do something. And it was great to see all these kids yesterday reading that and then kind of like, you know, trying to brainwash them with that to make sure they understand, you know, They basically deserve equal opportunity. They're strong, they're like smart, and they can do anything they want to do in life. So it's great to sort of like keep doing that for these young people. But in terms of our 2022 impact and achievement, it was again, the youth development program was fantastic. It was a great achievement for us. We had 3,914 young participants in our activities and events. We had 218 activities organized for these young people, and 147 young people engaged with activities every week. So up until November last year, we were engaging with 147 kids every week. We had activities for kids Monday to Sunday. So it's very important to keep doing that. In terms of satisfaction, 4 out of 5 young people that we've asked within the youth development program all satisfied with what they get. And the great thing about it, we're very flexible. If a young person or 2 or 3 young people come to us and say, oh, this is what we want to see, we try and sort of like change that around, because we're a very small team and the hierarchy, we haven't got a massive hierarchy. For us to change things is very quick. So they're definitely benefiting from it, and it's changing a lot of things in the community, obviously for the best interest of these young people. And these are just kind of like some of the engagement activities we've got there. As you can see, the volleyball, football, holiday activities, we've got basketball, and then we've got the group days out. You can see 3,839 participants attended these activities in 2022. The youth workshop, I mean, young people is very, for us, there is no secret about this. We provide them with the engagement activities, and then we keep telling them, right, for what you need to do for us as well, you need to come to these workshops. And most of the time, they turn up because you're providing them something they like. And for us, I mean, some of them even come to us and say, oh, what do you gain out of this? We're like, no, when it's time for a workshop, just come to that. So it's really good. That's one of our workshops there. As you can see, 75 young people actually turned up. And that's when we're actually launching phase 2 of the youth development program, and then talking to them about employment, and not the youth program, not just being like, basketball, volleyball, football, but we need to look at what do you want to do in life to try and set up with a platform where you can actually go on and do better in life. Mentoring, so we are very big on this. Again, is to sort of like talk to them because they can relate, and tell them what we think and how they can actually sort of like better themselves. And that's going really, really well. 42 young people actually received one-to-one mentorship in 2022. Access to education and the work experience. Again, we're very big on this. Is to sort of like expose these young people at a younger age so they can actually see, what they can actually do moving forward. 5 young people have already been referred to Richmond Motor Group. Applications are being processed, and some of the parents have already sort of like signed the forms, so they're going to start their work experience with Richmond Motor Group. And then we have 7 more interested and that we're working with at the moment, and waiting to sort of like be referred again to Richmond. I'm going to call Caleb to come on stage. Caleb is one of the young people that joined us not long ago. And so we've got Caleb. He wanted to say something to everyone.
So I'm Caleb, and I joined Urbond in March last year. I originally joined because I wanted to participate in the youth volleyball project. My friends saw me at school and went, we could play this company, this charity, and we want you to come along, and we want you to find out about it. I started going there for a couple of months, and then I went along to the youth workshop that they did, and whilst I was there, I realised that these people were looking out for us and that they wanted to do something very good for us, and that just sort of were there to benefit the youth rather than benefit themselves, as there's a lot of companies that now would rather look at personal gain than looking at sort of what they can do for the youth. And I was graced with the opportunity of now coaching the under-10s on a Thursday night, and I agreed to do this because they've given me loads and they're going to give me loads in the future, so I was like, I need to find a way that I can help these people back. I will give up my time to be able to do the coaching, and I love that. The kids there every week, they're full of energy, they're absolutely amazing, and I enjoy it. And all of the other stuff that they're offering us is just absolutely amazing. And that's why I've wanted to join them and help out as much as I can within Urbond and see what else they can bring to the table.
I mean, Caleb has been with us for a long time, and he saw so many young people, the under 10s, coming up, and then we're running around, running everything, and then he approached and said, look, I can actually help coach the kids. So obviously Caleb is 15 years old. We have to have like adults there. But it's the fact that some of our young people are now sort of like mentoring and coaching some of our young people, and us, that's what's very, very important. And we've got so many young people like Caleb now turning up to help out run other activities. It's sort of like provide them with that platform where they can actually learn to be leaders and then learn to do things in the community and also give back. And he heard basically what he said. The charity was doing a lot of things for him, and he turned up to us and said, how can I sort of like do something for you guys as well? And then we said, right, you know about football, why don't you coach the kids? He's brilliant with the kids, the under 10s. So from today, I think from 5 o'clock, myself and Caleb will be sort of like running the youth football under 10s as well. So it's going to be a busy day. But in terms of like the youth development program, these are basically, again, the companies invested in the youth development program. These are the people that actually, all of these companies that we have here, they're all invested in the youth development program. If you look at Richmond, they're basically helping with the work experience. Power Media, they basically helping with the film. They're now doing one-to-one with filming stuff with young people. Active Community Network, they're based in London. They used to be here in Portsmouth. They moved out, but we actually, one morning I was sat there, I got a call from Ollie and said, oh, we actually moving out of Portsmouth. I was like, okay, that's great. And I said, why are you guys doing that? Because you've got a lot of people. He was like, the reason why I'm calling you, because we're actually getting all our people to go to Urbond. I was like, we haven't got funding for that. He was like, we've already referred the kids. I was sat at Charles Dickens, and then I had to call people and say, oh, guys, we've got a group of young people turning up today because Active Community Network is not longer in Portsmouth. And we have to accommodate that because we can't tell these young kids you can't come in. You know, so we've got all the kids now from Active Community Network. And the thing is, every time they have people to refer, they just call us and say, oh, we've already told the kids to sign up. So it's a great thing because obviously these kids want something, but at the moment we're ranging between like 25 to 27 people in all these different activities. The Big Lottery, I think 90% of our funding comes from Big Lottery. Sport England is helping a lot with the youth engagement activities. We have Hive. We do a lot of work with Hive with our activities. Lorna is actually here. They have activities with the council. Energize Me also got involved with the youth side of the things. The parent board is again a platform where they're doing a fantastic job in Portsmouth. PMA, we have actually been passing some of our kids to go and learn music from through PMA. We established a working relationship there where they take some of these young people. Again, we are asking a lot of sort of like charities and businesses because we can't do this all on our own. Everybody that you see here is somehow involved in the youth development program. We don't believe like in just kind of like, we know these young people, we know how to get these young people. We want people to come forward. And if you want to sort of like, you know, anything that you want to do for these kids, we can actually facilitate that. And everybody here at the moment is all doing that. And we want more people to come on, to come on board and tell us exactly how should we all sort of like, you know, help advance this program because it's very, very important for Portsmouth. It's our child education program, helping to sort of, helping to provide primary education to children in need in the Republic of Guinea at the moment. Guinea is just like an entry point. I think before the pandemic, our plan was to sort of like reach out to 5 different countries in Africa. But I think, you know, we didn't know what we were actually getting ourselves into. We realized, God, you know, it's a lot to do. And we're still stuck in one little place in the Republic of Guinea. We haven't even like gone out of that yet because when you think about the child education, people just see young people not going to school. But there's more to that. You know, you have like barriers preventing these young people from going to school. you have like child labour. Parents actually saying, oh, I'd rather my son or my daughter go and sell something where we can actually get £1 a day. We have had parents, because we always confront parents to try and say, hey, you know, let the kid, you've done your life, let this young person sort of like go to school. Be like, if he goes to school, who is gonna go on the street to sell things for me? And we come across a lot of things like that. It's just how can we sort of like work with the parents? But we have done a lot, you know, you will see in a bit, once I've gone through the presentation, we're achieving a lot because the parents now have actually seen the importance and they trust us, because unfortunately you have a lot of sort of like charities that goes to these countries and then take pictures, talk to the parents or talk to the locals, and they never get to see them again. But with us, it took us time to build our relationship with them, and then every year we take volunteers here to the Republic of Guinea to go and help Advanced Child Education Program. So it's going from strength to strength, but I'm gonna sort of like go through that. It's again driving opportunities, wellness and success. Sorry, that's forget about that. That's like a typo. It's supposed to be the child education program is about offering opportunity, offering primary education to children in need. Here is a video about our child education program in the Republic of Guinea.
Training, exactly, full of positivity.
Bonjour.
Qu'est-ce que vous pensez de cette toilette?
Bah, moi je trouve que c'est très bien fait. Vous avez assez fait pour nous et je vous remercie vraiment.
Et vous?
Je suis très contente de cette toilette et j'espère que les jeunes filles comme moi sont contentes de ce que vous avez fait pour nous aujourd'hui.
I am 14. 14.
I think every day it was really a new chapter for us, a new experience. I wouldn't say it was just like one main thing.
Yeah.
Because we was facing like really different difficulties as me as a mother.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like really heartbreaking to see the children, because we realized like we got everything in our lives. Most of the stuff they doesn't really have nothing.
Right? Then you need to remember that this inside and this one, so going up, and then on the end you think, come. Done? Okay? Merci.
Look how much they've learned. This stuff only got like installed a year ago, and they're already firing away.
Some teaching about sexual reproduction and hygiene, the female reproductive system and the male reproductive system, for them to understand how things work. We also explain what's the menstrual cycle and self-defense as well. And now we're going to distribute the kits with the pads, the reusable pads. We've already told them roughly how they are going to use and that they can use it for a few years.
Je vous en prie, ne vous moquez pas d'elle. Aidez-la plutôt. Okay?
We're here following Arthur to sort of like see what he does with his day, you know, from the time he wake up until he gets to school. It's 5 o'clock in the morning in Guinea. unfortunately today they haven't got nothing. You know, Alpha wouldn't have breakfast today. It's kind of like you can see it's a mixture of like hot water and then the local tea with sugar, but they haven't got bread or anything else. So after this, you know, he's gonna have to go to school without having to have a proper breakfast.
Dieu merci, ce que vous avez envoyé pour nous montrer le développement de Alpha. C'est nous qui va avoir l'argent pour payer ça. Pour le moment, on ne sait pas Alpha, il est gentil pour ça.
The IT class is going on at the moment, and then we've got Alpha teaching. Et les cours d'informatique, l'anglais, tout le programme que Urbond donne ici, qu'est-ce que tu trouves?
Je trouve que c'est bon. Ça agit dans notre avenir, car c'est très important pour nous, l'informatique et l'anglais. Car si nous ne comprenons pas l'anglais, ou nous ne pouvons pas faire l'informatique, c'est difficile pour avoir le boulot.
Et qu'est-ce que le travail de Urbond ici t'a rapporté, toi?
Bon, ça m'a rapporté une grande joie. J'aime vraiment le travail que Urbond a fait pour nous. Nous adorons bien et nous continuons à vous encourager à en faire plus. Nous vous remercions pour tout ce que vous avez fait pour nous.
Okay. Et si tu as un mot à dire à tous les supporters de Urbond, qu'est-ce que tu allais dire?
Bon, j'allais dire que je les remercie d'abord. Grâce à leur capacité, ils ont pu faire cette salle d'informatique. Et certains nous apprennent l'anglais. Des fois, ils nous disent de ramasser autour de l'école, nous apprendre l'hygiène. Et ils sont vraiment gentils avec nous. Quand on leur demande des choses, ils nous donnent. Et ils sont vraiment heureux avec nous.
Et qu'est-ce que tu dis, si tu as un mot à dire à tous les Anglais, au fait, qu'est-ce que tu leur diras?
Tous les Anglais? Bon, les Anglais, d'abord ceux qui sont venus ici, les remercie et mes condoléances pour la reine Elisabeth. C'était une femme courageuse, mais c'est la vie. Chaque fois, forcé, tu vas mourir. Donc, je souhaite mes condoléances et qu'ils prennent courage.
I mean, I'm actually lost for words. So I'm actually quite new to Conakry, to Guinea overall, and to come out here as my first sort of outside the capital visit, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, just look at the number of people who are here. That just goes to show how much people have not just enjoyed, but benefited from the work that Urbond does. And I mean, I'm lost for words. That's what more can I say?
And man, this experience is second to none, man. Second to none whatsoever. Thank you.
The child education program, I think, is really hard. You know, this program is tough because these kids, as you can see, they're actually doing coding. They're doing a lot of things. They just lack opportunities, and that's what we're trying to sort of like bring to them. We it was on the 21st of October last year when we actually introduced them to computers, and then we went back there last year, 2021, sorry, and then we went back there last year in 2022. They were already doing coding with computers, you know, and you've got like young kids like 9, 10 years old actually doing coding. You know, they can sort of like work on a traffic light. They've never seen a traffic light, but they kind of like do the stop sign. It's incredible, you know, and I think it's great to sort of like keep doing that because I think we're gonna sort of like be creating the future entrepreneurs at the back of this. So the reason why we actually started the child education program, it was lack of schools in those villages and lack of teachers. Primary schools, public schools being overcrowded because nobody cares. Teachers can go 6 months without getting paid by the government. And the poverty and lack of opportunities for young people actually make it impossible for them to go to school. Gender disparities, young girls actually stopped from going to school because the parents actually use young girls as young as 7, 8 to do all the work in their homes, and they just never go to school, or when they first see, when they start seeing them, once they start going through their menstruation stage, the parents just kind of like pull them out of school because they haven't got facilities to accommodate for that. And again, forced child labor, you know, parents sort of like want to sort of like put these young kids so they can actually make quick cash without thinking what the future is going to be sort of like for these young people. So it's kind of like trying to stop that cycle. That is a problem at the moment, but we have seen massive changes that you're going to see in a minute with the child education program. So we have 4 main projects under the child education program. We are building schools where there are no schools. So I think when we actually sort of like embarked on the child education program, it was how the child education program started. It was back in 2018, our Child Dickens Activity Center. We had a lot of people that actually in the community that brought us like unwanted clothing. And then they said, it's Christmas time, can you sort of like give it to people in need here? And then we said, okay, that's great. To us, it was easy. We took it to sort of like some of the deprived areas in Portsmouth. And then we said, oh, you know, we've got some stuff here, do you want to take it? Anything that wasn't branded was left. Anything that was Polo Ralph and Armani was picked. And then the guys were like, all right, what are we going to do with this? I said, right, we need to find a place to take it to. And then we then sort of like took it and then sent it to the Republic of Guinea and Italy because of the migrants in Italy. It was well received, they sent us pictures, and then some of them went to Guinea. And then the feedback we got, it was really good. We started sort of like thinking, oh, you know, people actually do want things that people don't want here. You know, how can we sort of like connect those two together? You know, and then we started sort of like sending things to Guinea. And then people appreciated it. Went there in 2018, and then started talking to a lot of people, the British Embassy, and said, because to us, we just wanted to sort of like send unwanted stuff for them to give it to the kid. But we saw what was going on. And then I remember Mac, who is now the rep for the charity in the Republic of Guinea, said to us, like, let's take a drive. And then we took a drive to nearby cities, and then we went to the Breca, this place where we are based now in the Republic of Guinea. And then we saw how many young people are not going to school. And then I said to Mark, I said, right, this is great because we need to now do a feasibility study to see what's going on and then speak to these parents and then see what was going on. It was difficult for us to start with because it took us like, I would say a year to do that feasibility study because a lot of parents, because all the larger charities that used to come, they just come and take pictures and then they give them all this false hope and then they never come back. Even when we actually built the library and computer room, I don't want to mention, but one of the biggest charities that we all know came to them and then took pictures and said, right, we're going to build a library and computer room here for you. And they were so excited, they never came back. That was done in 1996. The lady told me about it. We went to this place called Kutaya in Dubreka. It's really difficult to sort of, and then we looked at the kids, you know, nobody's going to school. No one was going to school, and then we started talking to the parents, don't believe in education. It's not that they don't believe in it, but they haven't got the opportunities to sort of like, and then myself and some of the guys, including Kwame, and we actually took money from our own pocket. We said, right, we're gonna buy a school, we're gonna buy a land and build a school. To us, like, it was easy because we all basically have our own jobs. We have our own bills to pay here, we're not rich. But it kind of like, when I came back, I remember coming back and then calling all the trustees and then saying, right, let's sit down, let's talk about this. Because the plan was to go to Malawi first. But when we looked at the situation in Guinea, it was so messed up that all the trustees then basically said, oh, Guinea should be the first country we should go to. Because we pulled the situation, the child education situation in Malawi, and then compared to all the other countries, Guinea was actually the worst. The reason why Guinea is between countries like Sierra Leone, Liberia, Senegal, and all these countries have actually had civil wars. And what you basically did, you got a lot of young people to migrate to Guinea without their parents. So they're all growing up in Guinea without parents, and they're not going to school because they haven't got people to tell them they're living on the streets of Guinea. And they had a lot of people like that. I mean, we've all seen Blood Diamond. That was the biggest refugee camp where the guy go to sort of like try and rescue his family. That's based in Guinea. It's like 45 minutes from where the child education program is based. So it's kind of like you've got so many kids. A lot of young kids came from all these neighboring countries to come to Guinea without their parents. And the streets were like flooded with kids. So we went to Dubreka, we bought a land, we managed to sort of like get 4 acres of land. But then COVID happened, we couldn't build a school. But I was saying to the guys, I said, right, we know COVID happened, but what can we do to sort of like still help these young people? And then we then tracked some of the young kids that live at Kutaya village to go to school. And then they have to sort of like walk like 5 kilometers to come to a little sort of like a river to cross to go to the breaker. And then we followed the entire journey. We didn't tell them. And then we realized they're all basically going to this public school called École Primaire Publique d'Application. And the reason why they go there is because it's the school that doesn't refuse kids, because the lady that's actually the head teacher of that school has been there for 22 years before we came there. And her office, I'm sure the volunteers see in the office, her office like wasn't bigger than this. And then that's why they had like, you know, all their teachers meeting. They had everything, and then she's been there for 22 years. When we came to her and then we started talking about the child education, she was like, look, you know, don't waste my time because this is never going to happen. You know, so many charities came here, they promised they're going to do it because this is the worst school that we have here. It's not going to happen. So, and then I said to her, I said, look, you know, we're going to come back because you might not trust us, but we're not going to give up on you because you have actually, she wasn't getting paid to deliver, and her salary was like, you know, 60 quid a month. She can go like 6 months, the government doesn't pay her. So, and then I spoke to the guys, I was like, look, we can afford 60 quid. Let's try pay her salary. So every month we start sending money to sort of like, we say, right, we know the government is not paying you because you can go for 6 months without getting paid, but you've got bills to pay. We're gonna pay your salary. So we start paying her salary. And then after 4 or 5 months, she's seeing like, oh, these guys are actually paying my salary. They're asking how the school is, how can we help? And then she then started paying attention. She actually called back for me to go, and then I remember going back there, it was 2020 in April, and when I sat down with her, I said, look, you just need to help us help you. We've already bought land, we're gonna build our school, but all those kids are coming here, all the poor kids are coming to the school. We just wanna help you. She was like, okay, that's fine. So we fast-tracked it. 2022, we said, right, 2020, we're gonna bring people in, volunteer trip and all these other things and do things, but COVID obviously happened, we couldn't. And then we reported back to 2021. What basically the charity said they're gonna do for you, we're gonna do it. And started telling her all these things that we're gonna do. She was like, oh, I need to see that to believe it. And then builders started coming in. People like, we did a lot of fundraising here, even like the community integration, the youth development program, everybody was kind of like putting money in. We went and built the library and computer room. And we put computers in, and all the teachers that were actually teaching there, we took all of them like to pay their salaries because it wasn't literally a lot. It was kind of like £300 a month. All the teachers were getting paid. The school classes were overcrowded. So we took the entire program. We said, right, the pass rate back then was like 45.5%. We said, we're gonna take this to the UK. We're gonna put it in front of head teachers and see how they can help. Because for us, it's just kind of like, it was so messy because you had like 82 kids in one classroom. They had like primary 6A, primary 6B, primary 6C. Everybody, that was the primary 6 is basically where they wait. The French schools, that's where they wait to sort of like take their first exam. But what basically was happening, all the young kids that were coming from primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they were all basically stopping at primary 6 because the education system was really bad. So no one was going past primary 6. And then we took all that. We said, we need to sort of like review this. We need to take it to the specialists in the UK for them to look at it and then see how we can actually improve it. We came here, we went to Sandra, who was head teacher at Charles Dickens, the school behind Charles Dickens Activity Centre. Put it in front of her, she was like, oh, this is crazy. He said, well, the problem is, I can give you the UK system, but they might not accept it. I was like, no, just give it to us. And then she gave it to us, and then I took it back to Guinea. I said to the lady, I said, right, we're going to help you, but you have to follow the English system. Let's forget about what you have here. Let's follow this. She was like, oh, I don't think the local authority will allow it. I was like, right, put me in front of the local authority. Let me speak to them. And then we went to the local authority, and then I said, look, we're not asking you anything. We're just asking you to follow the English system, and let's see how we can actually improve the pass rate. They were like back and forth. It took time, and then they called. They were like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then the teachers, we said, right, everybody here in this school, we're going to take all of you guys. We're going to pay your salaries, and we're going to improve things, but we want you guys to follow our system. And then everybody was right. You guys are paying us. We do what you guys want to do. So we changed the system. The following year, we increased the pass rate from 45% to 61%. And then in 2021, the pass rate went to 79%. Rather than like having like 4 classrooms of like primary 6, we then reduced it to 2 classrooms. And obviously, again, when the coup happened in Guinea, a lot of things happened, and then the work obviously that we were doing in that school went down, because obviously most of the schools didn't sort of like, when I think 3-4 months, they didn't go back to school. We went back to that school, we built them a library and computer room. Kids actually sort of like having access to computers, and the lady was moved from her like a little office to sort of like an office with like aircon, and she had everything. It was big. I think she was even asking us, like, can we change it from the library and computer room? Can you change it from the library and computer room to a community center? Because all the meetings that the government, local authority is doing, they're all basically, it's all happening in that school right now. And girls' attendance, when we started, because that's one of our focal points, girls' attendance, we're telling parents, you need to let these young girls go to school. Girls' attendance increased from 18% to, we are now basically at 75%. There are more young girls going to that school compared to boys. There are, at the moment, 660 young girls going to that school, because things that actually prevented them from going to school, menstruation project, we're tackling it. Lack of toilet facilities, we build them toilet facilities. You've seen that video. One-to-one with young girls, talking to the parents, you know. We were actually sort of like, we had people in the UK sponsoring kids, making sure like, you know, they send them like, you know, some of the guys are doing £20 a month, where actually sort of like the money is going directly to the kids, making sure they have access to school, they're going to school, and also their books and all the study materials are covered. So it's going really, really well. And where we're building a school at the moment, we have actually started building that school. For some reason, it's one of the poorest countries in the world, but it's one of the most expensive as well. I don't understand it. I can't comprehend it, because I mean, to sort of like afford a really decent meal in Guinea, you're talking about like 15, 20 quid. And the poverty, like people are getting paid like £60 a month. I don't know how it works. It's really hard in terms of like building these things, because they have to import a lot of sort of like building materials, and it makes everything expensive. But we have now started building our own school. Hopefully, we'll do something about that. At the back of that, we're actually looking to do a lot of things to make sure when the volunteers go, they have somewhere to stay. Empowering communities is hard, because when you talk about child education, when we were thinking about it before 2018, we were thinking, right, great, we're going to go and take kids and then put them to school. That's not the case, because education starts from their parents. They don't believe in education. Why would they let their kids go to school? So we have to start educating those parents first, do a lot of workshops, one-to-ones, talk to the parents. And I think now, because it's kind of like getting better, because the problems that they have actually they've been putting to us, you were like, look, I can stop my kid from going on this street to sort of like sell things for me to be able to feed my family. But what can you do for me to be able to do that? It's a great question. You have to think about that. And then you have to think about things that you can put in place to make sure they're not using these kids to go and sell things. That's why we have a training center. The training center is actually in partnership with Microsoft. I was sat in the office one day, and then I got a call. And then someone from Microsoft called and then said, oh, we actually sort of like seen everything that you do in Guinea. How can you sort of like support? And then I said like, oh, these guys, like, he's just like one of the cold callers. You know, they're just calling us to sort of like talk about things. And then there was another lady that came here and then came to the office one day and started talking to me about Gig Academy from Microsoft. Do you know that Microsoft can actually sort of like train people in the Republic of Guinea and then give them jobs remotely? So, and then I was like, okay, great. And then we started looking at it, and then put me in touch with this guy called Ross, who is in charge of the Gig Academy in America. and then we started talking. So the plan with the Urbond Training Center is to sort of like provide vocational training to parents so they can actually afford the cost of sending their kids to school. But obviously, again, we have to impose English because the program will be delivered in English. Working with local schools, I've already touched base on that. We're basically working with École Primaire Publique l'Application, and then the pass rate is going up. This is 2022 impact and achievements. This is what we're actually looking to do. This is the school that we're actually looking to build. That's Block A. It's going to have, like, as you can see, this is basically the 6 classrooms here that we have. And next to it is going to be teacher's office and then the library and computer room. And then we're going to have a canteen. And then a building would actually sort of like provide a facility where kids that haven't got where to sleep, they can come and stay there and be able to sort of like obtain that education that they don't have at the moment. And then upon completion, we have like 260 children year on year that would actually be enrolled to take part in this education platform. It will obviously provide employment for the locals, and then it will empower communities. And obviously in that area where we have like about 3,000 people, they will all have access to send their kids to school. This is the empowering communities, what we have actually done at the back of empowering communities to make sure they look at child education program. Last year, 150 young girls and 30 teachers have received a training on menstruation. That's like Kat, we got Kat here delivering the menstruation project, which was like fantastic. I mean, all the volunteers, I don't know how much menstruation part that we took to the Republic of Guinea. But irregular migration is something that we need to talk about. A lot of young people are losing their lives crossing the sea to come to the UK or come to Europe. So 29 young people and 26 parents actually benefited from that last year. And then in terms of like the FGM, 23 young girls and 36 parents, actually women, received the FGM workshops, benefited from the FGM workshops. Empowering communities, we launched our first ever semi-marathon in the Republic of Guinea, and then we had over 300 people that took part in that. It's an awareness campaign for us to get the parents and the locals to sort of like be aware of child education. So we all sort of like, the t-shirt had like child education awareness at the back, and then parents, a lot of parents came out. It was sort of like well received, and the local authority, that's what we're gonna sort of like carry on doing. Every October, we're gonna have like a marathon or semi-marathon to walk it, and then make sure like we sensitize the parents and the locals to believe in child education. We actually, with the help of Richmond Motor Group, who sponsored the play area, we actually provided a play area to keep these people mentally and physically healthy. And over 1,000 sort of like people have actually got access to the play area every sort of like day. The trouble with that is I got a call, I was talking to Carlos about it, telling me like, oh, the hoops is done. Because everybody in the community uses it. It's being overused because everybody goes there because they've got lights, they can play until what, 9 o'clock. So everybody is using it at the moment. Apparently even the pent, nothing can be seen. So it's crazy because like it's being overused, but it's great because like that's what it's there for. But everybody is coming to this now rather than going anywhere else because it's got electricity. But apparently like when I see it, you can't believe it. Do you know what I mean? So it's crazy because I was talking to Carlos, we're thinking of buying the hoops from, is it China? Was it? Yeah, so it's to kind of like replace a lot of things there at the moment because apparently you need a lot of things doing again. But yeah, they're using it, which is a great thing. We had the first ever International Girls' Day to sort of like, again, empower these young girls to sort of like look at education. 350 people attended the International Girls' Day. We had 350 children benefited from the dental hygiene workshops delivered by Patricia and Basia. 350 toothbrushes and toothpaste donated. To us here in the UK is nothing, but to them they've never done it. They've never seen stuff like that. So it's really, really good for them to sort of like, you know, take a toothpaste and then sort of like, the excitement was great. Disabled young people benefited one-to-one support, and we have actually been doing that. We have been doing a lot of work at the back of disabled young children, Because when you're disabled in Guinea, there's no life for you. There's nothing there for you. Even the schools, no one actually accommodate, no one sort of like try to do anything for you. When you're disabled, you don't have a life, period. We've been doing a lot of work at the back of that to see how can we sort of like help young disabled people to go to school. I think in 2021, we actually started one girl, when we did a feasibility study, she was so bright that we couldn't leave her out of school. So we bought her like a pushchair and then she started going to that same school. The model worked. So what we're actually looking to do this year is to try and sort of like tackle that and then target 25 young disabled people, provide them with access to education and also enrolling them to school and then making sure that we pay their study materials as well. 600 plus young people have access to the toilet facility. We successfully launched our English classes. Andrew, Martina and Abby actually sort of like were the head of that. What we have actually done before we left, we actually got someone, interviewed him. He's now delivering English classes to that school. So the plan obviously is to sort of like get more English teachers to sort of like teach English so we can actually push them to do the Gig Academy with Microsoft, which can actually provide them with jobs as well. We have, in the space of like 18 months, we were able to increase girls' attendance in that school by 62.2%. So, I mean, I got a call once from the British Embassy saying like, oh, we've been spending a lot of money on girls' education in Guinea and girls are not going to school. I was like, how are you doing it? And then they explained it. I went to the embassy. I said, right, we can do it. Let's try with the school that we're working with first and see if it's going to work. If it works, and then we can actually roll out. We started it. We started it on the 1st of, on the 1st of January 2021. And then within 18 months, we increased the girls' attendance with that school by 62.2%. And at the back of that, we now have a lot of work with the British Embassy. Myself and Alec actually traveling in 2 weeks' time to go and then sort of like tackle girls' attendance in some of the areas in the Republic of Guinea in partnership with the British Embassy as well. The training centre. The training centre again is to basically provide job-ready training to members from underprivileged communities with the hope that they can actually obtain jobs and afford the cost of sending their kids to school. It's all basically linked to the child education program. Kids have to benefit because if they don't benefit, we don't want to know anything about it. It's all about the kids. Since inception, we have actually donated over 10,000 books. In fact, again, I think tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning, myself, Alec and Abby, we're driving to Belgium to go and pick up 2 books that have actually been collected by Kat's mum to be able to bring them here and then put them in a container with everything that we have to ship them to Guinea. So the reason why we're going to Brussels is because like Kat did a massive campaign and then collected French books, and that's going to the school in the Republic of Guinea. In terms of support, 2,940 young children from Dubreka have actually been benefited from the child education program. 426 parents have actually been supported by helping their kids to go to school. And in terms of like basic items donated and to support the children is 2,200 basic items. We're going to welcome Andrew. He's got a few things to say, Mr. Speaker.
Just a couple of things. Thanks, Drame. So I'm Andrew from Richmond Motor Group, and I was also lucky enough to be one of the volunteers last year on the trip. Richmond have been working with Urbond since 2016, 2017, and as Urbond have grown, Richmond's support for them has grown as well throughout the years. Started off as basic t-shirt sponsor for the volleyball team, and then I said over the years, kind of do more and more in the community in Portsmouth, to the point last year where we were one of the main sponsors for the Guinea trip, sponsoring the playground that you've seen, as well as sending out free volunteers, like I said, myself, Abby and Bads, who can't be here today, unfortunately. But in order to support Urbond and so on. Now, the question as to why, when Drame said, can you stand up and say a few words, why Richmond are continuing to support Urbond and do that more and more each year? Obviously, the answer is we back Urbond and what they believe in and what they do. But another big part of it is it's a local charity, and that's important to Richmond Motor Group, is that when we support something, we see something and the impact it has in your home city, in Portsmouth here, that's an important thing. You see that immediate impact as well. Something else I wanted to kind of relate to that as well, and I'm going to steal a phrase from one of our friends in Guinea, Mac, who's employed by Urbond in Guinea. He said it at the charity ball, it's giving becomes addictive. And I think that's relevant for Richmond Motor Group, first of all, in the fact that we started off small. Like I say, you see the impact immediately, and then you want to do more, and then you do want to do more again, and it continues like that and snowballs. And then from a personal perspective, the same. Both myself and Abby only really got involved with Urbond 12 months ago. But once you start working with the charity, once you start working with Urbond, a lot of you already know, you can't get out of it. You want to do more, you know? This man keeps you in, exactly. And you just want to keep doing more and you want to give more. And that's where that addiction comes from, that addiction for giving comes from. So I don't know if there's any corporate sponsors here or people here that are looking to be corporate sponsors, but I would absolutely encourage you to do so. And anybody here who knows somebody who owns a local business in the community that are looking to support a charity, then Urbond's the way to go, absolutely. Just finally, before I sit down and show you a nice little video, Sam, who's the owner of the business, who's here today as well, when I said to him I was going to do this today, just say a few words before the video, and what's the reason for Richmond looking after and sponsoring Urbond. And there's the obvious bits, you get the media exposure and things like that, which Drama is very good at, and so is Alec and Ollie, and all that kind of stuff. But actually, his response was, it's just the right thing to do, you know, support a local charity. And that's why Richmond do it, and I said encourage anybody else who's thinking about doing it to do so as well. So, nice little video now.
We partner with Urbond because they deliver on their values and their commitments. The work that Drama and the team at Urbond have done, both here and overseas in the Republic of Guinea, is nothing short of amazing, and we're proud to be able to support wherever we can. We're looking to get more involved in the youth development programme, as well as the women's empowerment workshops that they run at the moment. And we're also really proud to be the main sponsor for the child education programme in the Republic of Guinea this year. And in fact, we've actually got 3 members of staff volunteering on the trip, which is absolutely amazing.
Richmond volunteers in Guinea. Just wanted to tell you all about the basketball court that Richmond Motor Group have sponsored. Behind us here is what they're building, almost there, just finishing off the concrete. But I also wanted to show you the reason why and what the difference is. So if we look around this way, this is the school, and this is the play area behind us here. So this is what we're doing, building a secure play area for the children. If we walk into the basketball court, you can see the busy road behind. 4 children have been killed in the last few years, where they've run onto the road after a ball. So this is going to save lives, effectively. So if you look here, look how busy the road is. All the motorbikes flying around. There's no structure to any traffic out here. And like I said, kids have run out into the road after a ball before and been killed. So this is the reason why Richmond sponsors the basketball court here. Hopefully, this time next week, it will be finished completely, painted, and the children will be on here playing. Thank you. My name is Andrew. I am 20. A, B, C, C. How you.
No, thank you. I think the relationship basically between Richmond and Urbond actually started back in 2016. Is basically grown from strength to strength. And someone came to the office last week and said, when I see Urbond, I just see Richmond straight away, because the brands, just kind of like, it just mixed. And a lot of people, actually, Carlos was talking about it last time about it. Everything you see Urbond, you've got Richmond, because Richmond believed in us. You know, I remember, like, you know, sat there with all the guys and said, right, this is the right thing to do. You know, we need to sort of like provide a platform where everybody can come in, irrespective of their background and beliefs and ideologies, where we can all work together. People didn't believe in us, you know, but when we actually sort of like went to Richmond and spoke to Richmond about it, they straight away didn't want to even know anything. You know, we didn't have any track records, but they wanted to be there for us, they wanted to support us, and they believed in it. So, me personally, I can't sort of like say anything, I can't thank them enough for what they're basically doing, because they make our job so easier. And not only the community integration, they've invested a lot in that. The youth development program, they're heavily involved in it, providing opportunities and employment to young people. And they followed us again in the Republic of Guinea. You know, it's kind of like, again, it's becoming addictive. Everything that Urbond start, Richmond is involved in it. Without their backing, I would 100% say none of these things wouldn't have been possible. So to Sam, Jess, and all the guys from Richmond Motor Group, you know, thank you so much. And I honestly believe together we are achieving great things. We just need to keep going and not give up, because it's not easy, it's hard. But we 100% believe with your support, we can achieve great things. So thank you very much, and let's keep doing what we do, because we are actually making real impact. Not basically people shouting and say, oh, corporate social responsibility, corporate social responsibility. I know somehow, you know, you don't want to see even Richmond brand on stuff, but again, you know, it means a lot to us, because like, you're not doing it for publicity, you're doing it because you really want to see changes and you believe in what Urbond is doing. So thank you very much for everything that you're doing. Thank you. So the plan for 2023 is going to be busy for the child education program. But obviously, the plan for the community integration and the youth development program is to grow by 20% year on year. So we're going to take more kids, so you're going to see more kids coming into the program. And then the community integration, we have the social cultural events coming back at the back, you know, now that COVID is gone. So we have the Urbond's 10th year anniversary coming up. We've got the International Women's Day on the 18th of March. We've got Patricia that came to the office this morning to sort of like start planning a lot of things. So it's going to be great. For the child education program, the plan this year is to sort of like carry on building our school, because most of the money that the volunteers are paying every year is actually going to the hotels. Because again, hotels, you're talking about 60, 70 quid per night. It's a lot of money. So what we're actually doing is to build our own school, and then we build sort of like some rooms where people can come and stay. That's going to bring the cost down a lot. Disabled children education is something that we're passionate about. This year, we're going to target 25 young kids, and we're going to start with that, provide them with like wheelchairs to get them to sort of like go to school and back, and then put like, you know, ramps to make sure like the schools are actually taking these kids to come in. We're going to provide clean drinking water to the partner school. We have the volunteers trip. This year, they're going to be traveling out on the 15th of October. The menstruation project is going to be ongoing, because girls are born every day. Training center in Conakry, that was meant to sort of like be done this month. But again, due to sort of like, you know, the funding, we had to sort of like push it back to April. English classes, we're going to sort of like try and work with schools here to sort of like be able to certify the English classes that we actually give into those people. The parent workshops is going to be ongoing, because parents has to be actually sensitized for the need of child education. Media workshops, Alec is actually done a lot of work at the back of the volunteers trip last year. Dubreka has got like an art school, and what we're actually looking to do is to get those young people, get them with like camera equipment so they can actually do their own film productions and then do a lot of things. So Alec is putting a lot of things together in terms of like workshops, and we're going to go back on the 12th of next month, and he's going to use 3 of those days to go to Dubreka and then sort of like put all the final plans together and then be able to deliver that project when we go back in October. Mikey, that went to the first volunteers trip, he's going back this year. He's going to basically go and launch a robotics program for the kids. This is actually because Guinea is a mining company. They're really sort of like bauxite is the first producer of bauxite in the world. What Mikey is doing basically is kind of like teaching these young kids so they have access to all those different things, how they can actually move machineries from one place to another, and it's all got to sort of like do the development and to make sure they're not spending thousands and thousands of pounds to get people expert from other countries to come to Guinea, so they can actually keep their jobs and then keep the locals to sort of like do those jobs as opposed to sort of like giving it away. But yeah, in terms of the child education program, these are the companies that we're working with the child education program. Again, the British Embassy is now heavily involved in it. Alec has been heavily involved in it for like the past, Power Media, sorry. Ollie and Alec, they've been heavily involved in it for the past 12 months now. Patricia has been actually heavily involved in it, like doing a lot of workshops on the ground. And Perfect Pay, we have the British Embassy. They again sort of like doing a lot with us at the moment. We have officialized the partnership, and it's going to sort of like, you know, make a lot of difference in the Republic of Guinea. And then we have some of the partners there, and then we've got Richmond Motor Group, who's heavily investing in child education in the Republic of Guinea as well. So yeah, that's the end of the conference. I hope that I've actually given you a better understanding. But what we do, as you can see, each of the programs that we have partners that just want to sort of like invest in those projects or on those programs. What we're actually doing is, what we're asking for everybody, any program that you actually believe in and you want to sort of like be part of it, we're calling all the partners, you know, to sort of like come on board, and let's see how we can actually impact not only sort of like in the Republic of Guinea, but what we do here on daily basis in Portsmouth with our youth development program or the community integration program, or if you want to follow us further afield to go in the Republic of Guinea and provide, you know, education to kids who would otherwise get it, and then you are more than welcome to do so. Hopefully by next year we will have like more partners to come on board and be able to showcase that on the screen. But this was actually sort of like the conference this year, because normally, if you remember, we do the conference with the charity ball. This is the first year we thought, right, we can't do the charity ball with the conference, we have to split it. So next year it's definitely going to be bigger, and hopefully we will be able to sort of like invite more partners to come on board. But thank you very much, everybody, for, you know, doing what you do. And again, without your incredible support, this great achievement would have never been possible. We're changing lives, we're giving opportunities. What more can we sort of like ask for? You know, let's keep going, let's keep changing, because eventually you'll be remembered for what you do. It's not what you have. You know, my mom used to tell me all the time, it's not about what you have in your bank account, it's about what you do with what you have. And I strongly believe in it. When you go, you'll be remembered for all the legacy that you have left behind. And truly speaking, I think we're doing it, and we all should be proud of what we're achieving so far. And thank you all. Let's keep doing what we do, and may God bless.
So I developed the menstruation project with a little bit of a push from Drame. I'm very happy. Last year on the trip we managed to give the workshops to 150 girls. We delivered menstrual aid and menstrual equipment to them to be able to equip them with it's okay. To equip them with menstrual pads for them to manage their periods safely. We also build a toiletry facility for girls, so they have a safe place to deal with the mess. Yeah, and we had the first proof that this is a very important project. The British Embassy has just approached Urbond because they want our support on delivering further sessions for 750 girls in February. So it's great. You caught us by surprise, but as Drame said today, we cannot say no, so we'll just have to do it. It's really gratifying that. And yeah, we'll see this year what's coming. Maybe more surprises from my side. Stay tuned.
With the rest of volunteers. I didn't have any project myself, but I was supporting all my friends in their projects, and I helped with the English classes. I'm not English, but I did try my best, and it was so much fun. I loved it. I was kind of like super motivated to help the kids. The engagement, how much they love, how much they learn. It was a massive motivation for me as well. And next year I'm gonna try to help a little bit more in Portsmouth, being a little bit more local. So there's a lot of things going on at the moment that we're gonna share in the future. But yeah, I'm really excited, and seeing everything back, all the work Urbond is doing, not only in Guinea but in Portsmouth as well, is such a massive motivation. So yeah.
Yeah, so how did you find the conference?
Oh, the conference has been great. I think Drame did a good job at representing Urbond and presenting what Urbond stands for and the various activities that Urbond does. And yeah, it's been refreshing to have a look at what Urbond really does overall, yeah.
And what's your involvement with Urbond?
I have various hats with Urbond. I'm the volunteer basketball coach. I coach basketball on Wednesday evening as part of the youth development program. And also I'm a project volunteer and currently working on a project for the disabled program that Urbond have embraced. And yeah, hopefully we'll be delivering it in October this year.
That's incredible. Thank you. Okay, so how was the conference? How did you find it?
I found the conference very inspiring. I love learning all about Urbond and all the different things that you do. I don't think you'd get that without coming here, so really appreciative of all the work that's gone into it. Really looking forward to somehow getting involved. The youth development resonated with me, coming from a struggle background, etc. So I can see the benefit of helping the young people here in Portsmouth. But there's lots of opportunities out there for people to get involved. So Urbond doing a really fantastic job.
Thank you so much, mate.
Yeah, good. All right.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah, I was born ready.
Okay, yeah. So, how was the conference?
How was the conference? Very informative, especially for those who really don't know what Urbond is about and the amazing work that they do both here in the UK and in Guinea. It's an insight into just a bit of what we do at Urbond. So I will encourage people to get involved, donate, get their companies to really look at these brochures. I'll tell you everything that we do, and hopefully we'll get more sponsors so that we can carry on doing amazing things, amazing work that Urbond is doing, really to think about to help those who are less fortunate than us. And I'm forever grateful and honored actually to be a part of this team, and forever continue to be a part of it as long as I can.
That's incredible.
Arrivederci.